3,
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Brew, live on Brew Sports. It is a Tuesday edition of the program. There's a lot going on. Of course, the sweeps have been going crazy, not only in hockey, but also in the basketball world. Golden State completing the sweep last night against the Utah Jazz. We thought maybe there was going to be more in the hockey playoffs in round 2, but it's actually been kind of competitive. But we'll get into that and a lot more here in just a little bit. We do welcome you inside the studio. I am Baxter Colburn. This wonderful person to my left is Jaymee Evers. A very good morning to you, Jaymee. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I have a voice today.
I was going to say,
so that's great.
We got a voice today. Yay, we can
Yeah.
start the show officially. That's a good sign. Happy voice, happy
Yeah.
life, something like that. Well, it's good to have your voice back because we love when you get all fired up, Jaymee. And when you don't have a voice to get fired up, it's just not as good of a show.
Oh, Bax.
It's true. It's very true.
Yesterday was rough.
It was.
I did not sound great.
It did not, unfortunately. But thankfully, you're back and bigger and better than ever. So
Yep.
that's all that matters. So we do wish you all a very good morning. We've got a lot of good things to get to this morning. A good morning to Jeff and Brew and others tuning in as well. Two big questions of the day. Jaymee and I have been talking and seeing on social media and just know a lot of people, a ridiculous amount of people that have been getting engaged recently, or we have a lot of weddings to go to in the next couple of months. And it begs the question that I feel like a lot of people don't always talk about is how soon is too soon to get engaged? I feel like in your relationship, I mean, I got engaged after 2 years in my relationship. Some people get engaged after a couple months because they just know. Some people I know that have been dating for 8 years and still have yet to get engaged. I'm like, what are we waiting for? So how long did you wait to get engaged if you are married out there? And in general, how long do you think is too soon to get engaged, kind of a thing? Also, we're asking kind of a fun question today. If you could name one player that you would want to switch spots with for a day. Doesn't matter past or present. Doesn't matter the sport, male, female, somebody you think you'd want to switch spots with for the day. So Jaymee and I will give our answers a little bit later on, and we will definitely be looking to read the best answers and comments from you guys this morning as well. We are broadcasting live not only here on Facebook, but also on YouTube and also on Spreaker.com as well. So numerous different places for you to get at us this morning to voice your opinions and let your voice be heard, of course, right off the bat. So Jeff also extending a feel better to you, Jaymee. He's glad to hear that you are feeling better. So that is certainly good news, to say the least. So like I said, a lot of good things to get to. We are going to continue to roll right along this morning into our What's Brewing segment, where we talk about some of the latest things brewing in the sports world. Jaymee, I know that the hockey world has been going a little crazy, and last night you see Game 7 now being forced between the Capitals, who just don't want to go away, and the Penguins, who are still trying to figure themselves out. But I wanted to lead off with that at least this morning and get your thoughts, because I don't know, I don't remember if we picked the series to go to 7 games or not, but I'm a little surprised, honestly, how neither of these teams want to just go away.
Yeah, I don't remember if we did either. I think in my original bracket, I picked the Capitals, but if anybody knows, my bracket was demolished in the first round. It's just trash. And then I said Penguins, I think in 6 or 7. Clearly it's in 7 now. I think that having Crosby back really helped yesterday.
Yes.
It shows how important he really is to that team. If anyone knows anything about the Capitals, like, they never make it very far. So the fact that they've been hanging on to be able to play a Game 7 is pretty exciting. So.
Well, and the thing, too, is that there was Sidney Crosby had a head-first crash last night as well, too, which a lot of folks were a little leery about. And he ended up continuing to play as well, too. We know he's a fighter. We know he's a warrior. But at what point, though, too, if you are Sidney Crosby, you kind of have to back off a little bit and be like, okay, like, I need to think about my well-being.
Right, and I get it. Like we've talked about 1,000 times before, the end goal at the end of the sports season is for everyone to walk away with a championship.
Of course.
But 3 concussions during his NHL career, and then, they put him back in the game right away. When the last time he had one, I don't think he played for like 2 months. So just hoping that they're not rushing it, so that, like you said, his own well-being is taken into consideration.
Absolutely. Well, a 5-2 victory last night in favor of the Washington Capitals. Game 7 set for tomorrow evening. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure, for those of you that are hockey fans, that you do make sure to tune in. I'm sure we'll be hearing from folks like Max Walpoff and others who are big Caps fans, and also just to help cover the team as a whole. So it'll be good to hear Max's opinions and others as well, too. If your favorite team is still in the playoffs, let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And who do you think, after the craziness of round 2, is going to ultimately end up taking home the trophy? Is it going to be Jaymee's Nashville Predators? Is it going to be the Never Say Die Washington Capitals? Is it going to be Edmonton with the Connor McDavid craziness out there? Who knows at this point? I think the fact that I think more people are starting to come towards the NHL playoffs because they're actually entertaining, because the NBA playoffs are just boring.
Right.
So boring. Like, you know who's going to win. Just move on. Just jump to the next season. It's not even worth it at this point.
Right. Like, we know it's going to end up being probably Cleveland and Golden State. So
Right.
my brother had tried to turn it on Sunday. It was like the Celtics game, I think. And I was like, do you actually care about this? Like,
No.
turn this crap off.
Nobody cares
He's
about
like,
it.
it's basketball, though. I was like, okay, I don't care. And he's like, well, I played it growing up, so I like it. I was like, you played it for 3 years, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. Like,
That's
no.
like me saying that just because I played soccer for 18 years, when I turn a soccer game on TV, that means I'm going to watch. If it's boring, I'm going to turn it off.
Right.
I'm
And
not going to go and keep watching it.
And his excuse was, well, it's just exciting. They make all these baskets. I'm like, that makes it not exciting at all.
Isn't that how the game is played, that you make a lot of baskets?
Right. I'm like, basketball's only exciting for like the last 3 minutes of the game. Every time someone makes a goal in hockey, everyone gets pumped.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
I don't.
Me either. I don't think he actually knows what he's talking about.
It's like, I like watching sports because they score points. Well, yeah, that's how the
Right,
sports
duh.
works. That's
Duh.
how it works. Come on,
I
brother.
played it in 6th grade, so.
Oh my gosh, that doesn't make any sense to me. But we do wish a good morning to Maxine. She says happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you, Maxine. A happy Tuesday to you, Liz, who's tuning in from Florida. Bright, sun, shiny Florida, not 45-degree weather.
24 more hours. 24 more hours.
Breathe, breathe, breathe. Yes, I get to go to Florida soon, so I'm excited about that. A good morning to Keith and many others as well tuning in. We are asking the 2 questions of the day. How soon is too soon to get engaged? If you, Jaymee and I have been noticing a ridiculous amount of engagements on our social media feeds recently. Some we just kind of scratch our heads about, saying, didn't they just start dating? And others it's like, well, it's about damn time. So help us answer those questions this morning. Also, if you can name one player that you'd like to switch spots with for a day, who would that player be? And even if you want to throw in the why, we will definitely dive into that. Aside from the baseball world, aside from the hockey world, aside from the craziness of the sweeps, like, we really don't even need to spend much time on the fact that the Jazz got swept. Like, Golden State's really good. Houston is going to try to maybe put a little bit of a fight up for them in the next round if they beat San Antonio. There's not much to say.
Right.
There's really not, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I know Mitch and Jimmy are going to be here tonight on Double Dribble at 5 p.m. Central Time, so for those of you that are big NBA basketball nerds, make sure you come back for that, and they will get into it way more than we are going to, just because they live for that sort of thing. So come back at 5 p.m. for the big basketball coverage. Aside from that, though, what else is brewing this morning, Jaymee? I know there's some kind of silly things out there right now.
Yeah, I think the first thing, since we're kind of on the basketball topic right now, is that Kyle Lowry is opting out of his contract, which, again, I didn't know that was a thing when Colin Kaepernick was like, nope, don't want
just
to.
getting out. I think
But
a lot
isn't
of the
there a contract for a reason?
They are, but a lot of contracts and a lot of players nowadays are all about getting as much money as they can. So they have the opportunity to sign these contracts that give them that freedom that last year. Because some players, even though they sign a 5-year deal, they don't want to be there that 5th year, depending on how good or bad the team is doing. So that's why they sign a deal that has something like that.
Okay.
So that way they can kind of step aside
Opt
and be
out.
like, okay, 4 years, guys, it's been fun. I want to get out of my 5th year. That's why you'll hear nowadays in the NFL people picking up the 5th year option, like the teams picking up, like, okay, yeah, we signed you to a 5-year deal, but the 5th year is kind of optional, and they're
Okay.
actually like picking up the 5th year option. So
Gotcha.
that's what it means in that regards. But Kyle Lowry is going to be an incredible free agent out there. I'm excited to see if he goes somewhere. He can sign only a 4-year max deal with any other NBA team. Where only Toronto is the only team that can offer him a 5-year max
Okay.
deal. So we'll have to see if Toronto wants him back. He's 31. He could offer a lot. I've heard rumors of him going to Philadelphia. So we'll have to see. People are answering the questions of the day, so I want to go back and reference those briefly. Liz says, depending on the relationship and life experience for engagement, for how soon is too soon to get engaged. She also says she's watching with one of her friends named Sid. He said that Sid would love to switch spots with Tom Brady for the day. Josh says anything less than 6 months is too soon to be engaged. Maxine says, player, any Green Bay Packer, because it would just be a fun experience to their day. And she said, I also agree 6 months is a stretch. Less than that is just nuts. I'm a firm believer that it has to be more than, you have to go through all 4 seasons together. Like, literal, seasons, like spring,
Right.
summer, fall. Like, winter kind of a thing. I think you need to go through at least a full year with that person to experience all of it, to experience the other people's families in their purest and rawest forms.
Yeah, but there are sometimes too when people don't bring like their significant other home for Christmas for like that first year.
Sure.
So then would you make them go another year?
Well, I'm not saying I'm going to keep dating you until we finally get the chance to like walk through the door together at Christmas. Be like, all right, now we've gone to 2 Christmases together.
Yeah.
Like now we can finally get engaged. Like my wife hasn't come to Christmas for when we were dating for every single time, because I would go home to Florida or vice versa, but we would still spend time together over Christmas. But she was able to meet my family otherwise. I think a lot of it depends on where your family lives.
Yeah.
And what I've been hearing too a lot of times now is people honestly don't even care as much what their family thinks.
Yeah.
People now are focusing more on just how they think and maybe the opinion of like great Aunt Bessie, because whoever listens to her, aside from the fact that she's signed off on this relationship, so it's like, oh great, so I'm completely fine. Like so many people that I know nowadays are like, yeah, I know I've been dating this person for 7 years, and yeah, I know they cheated on me twice, but we love each other, and my family hates them, but we're still gonna get married. Okay, sure, that makes a lot of sense to me. The thing that always bothers me, and maybe this is just because I don't think in logical terms, and this is why we do a show together, because then you can pull me down and be like, okay, come back down to earth, Baxter. I think 2 years is the perfect amount of time because, like you said, you get to go through a couple of seasons, you get to really experience everything, and then you can kind of decide at that point. If you still have a happy, healthy relationship at 2 years, at that point, then I feel like you need to decide, all right, either we're going to get married or we're going to go our separate ways. I think 2 years is a long enough time that you really know who that person is that you're with at that point.
Okay.
I
think 2 years is a solid answer.
Like the people that date 7, 8, 9 years and are not engaged and are not even close to having that conversation, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What do you do if you just want a friend to hang out with, then just be friends?
I think some people just don't want the pressure of being married. Like marriage is such people do it so quickly to like get the marriage certificate and like to say they have a husband and like blah blah blah. And other people that scares them, so they don't. I don't know.
Is it that scary?
I'm not in a relationship, so I can't talk.
But is it that scary though? Like if you were dating a guy for 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, at some point wouldn't you be like, my ring finger's getting a little dusty over here?
I wouldn't know.
Hypothetically, say in an alternate universe, you decide to finally settle down with a nice man, like if you've been dating for 4 years.
Yeah, I mean,
you'd probably start to be like.
But I'm also someone that doesn't like gray area. Like I need to know.
Exactly. That's what I know. Someone for you, you'd obviously be like, okay.
What's going on?
Yeah, like, am I getting married? Am I not? Like, I just need to know so I can move on with my life. Like,
right.
I've had these conversations with people recently that they've been together 3 years, 4 years, and I've talked to the girl and be like, hey, like, you've been together for a while. Like, are we starting to think marriage? Like, what's going on? And she's like, I have no idea. How do you not know?
Yeah.
How do you not know after 3 years or 4 years if you want to be with this person or how the other person feels?
I feel like what would be the purpose of dating someone for 5 years if you don't expect to be with them till the rest of forever? But again, don't ever take dating advice from me.
Sometimes I get it. I have good family friends. David Kenyon and his wife, who's David Kenyon from Bleacher Report, who's been on, they dated for 7 or 8 years before they finally got engaged/married because they started dating like early in high school, went to college in 2 completely different states, finally were able to get back in the same vicinity their senior year of college, basically, so they got engaged, and then from there, they were able to then plan their wedding. That makes a lot of sense. You date as long as you want to. You can keep a relationship from high school all the way through college and then go that route, completely fine.
Yeah.
But if you are out of college and you are working a normal job and you are 27 years old and you have been dating somebody for 5 years and you have no other excuse, put up or shut up. Like, honestly, like at that point, I'm just like, come on. It blows my mind. And maybe I'm in the complete minority in this, and that usually happens on this show, and that's completely fine. And I have accepted the villain role on this show because nobody ever agrees with me, and it's completely fine. But I just, that's just my thought. My opinion. Come at me.
Come at me.
I don't know. Does that make me a bad person to tell people just to get it over with and just make it happen?
No, but when you know, Baxter.
After 5 years, if you don't know, then you're never going to know.
Maybe you just knew faster.
Maybe. I mean, I do have a pretty darn amazing wife, so that certainly helps. But even still, like, 5 years or 3 years, like.
I think people rush engagements now, too, just to be like, oh my God, look at my ring.
They just want
Oh
the
my
social media
God.
posts.
Yeah.
I just had a friend that got engaged last night, and what did they do?
Right.
Hand on the chest, like, we're
Yeah.
engaged. I'm like,
Duh. Lame.
I want to see someone being like, yes, bam. Like, don't do the like, oh, hand on the chest. Like, Sorry, maybe not. Thank you. Jeff says hashtag Team Baxter. Finally, I got one. Life is good.
I didn't disagree with you that much.
I know you didn't, but usually everyone's like, Jaymee, yeah. And then it's like, Baxter, you suck.
Yeah, but I
Boo.
think a lot of people stay dating for longer than whoever, whichever side of the party wants to, because
Right.
people are just afraid to communicate.
What's
and
the
that's,
shortest engagement you've heard of that you have someone that you know?
Let's see. They started dating.
I'm gonna say I feel like I triggered something.
They got engaged after literally. I think it was probably they were hanging out in the summer. They got engaged in the fall.
That whole stupid
So,
term.
so literally probably 4 or 5 months, and then they got married, and then they had
Was somebody pregnant?
They got married 3 months later, and then they had an actual big ceremony.
Wow.
3 months after that.
I need to.
But they're not. It's not lasting.
It's not. I also need to take up shop and an issue with the term.
Oh God. Sorry.
Oh, what happened?
We're
You all right?
good.
You good? Dropping the microphone. You good?
Yep.
In a moment? No?
We're good.
You good? Okay. I just need to take issue really fast with the term hanging out. Like, we use they're hanging out. Like, how many people hang out nowadays? What do you mean you're hanging out? You are dating, for damn sakes. If you are just hanging out with the same person, you damn well know you are dating. Do not lie to me.
But I think dating and being with someone are different.
But
you can date someone, right? And hang out with them,
Right.
and date and go on dates, and that's dating.
Sure.
My best friend, she is doing this right now. She's seeing this. They've been seeing each other since October.
That makes more sense to use the word "I'm seeing someone." That's completely fine. But as soon as you start to say we've been hanging out for 7 months, I'm like,
Yeah.
I've been hanging out with friends for 20 years.
Right.
I'm not about to go marry them.
Well, and her family's coming into town for her graduation, and she's like, I don't know if I want to invite him to come meet my family. I'm like, you guys have been hanging out for over 6 months now. It's an appropriate time
Right.
for him to meet
Either you're
everybody.
dating or you're not, though. At this point.
Yeah, and she's like, well, we've never had the talk, and I'm like, okay, that's your issue.
That's
and
another
I
thing.
think I'm a really good communicator, so I
You are.
when I was with my ex-boyfriend, we were hanging out for a month straight, and I was like, okay.
I get it. A month makes sense.
I'm like, if this is gonna be a thing, you can't hang out with anybody else. I'm not gonna hang out with anybody else. We don't have to put a label on it, but I just need to know that you're not seeing anybody, and I won't, because I'm impatient. And I don't like the unknown. So I think it all comes down to communication. You have great communication, and you think after a year and a half you can get engaged.
Right.
Okay, great, get engaged. If
Sure.
you have great communication and you guys don't want to get engaged for 7 years, okay. What does it matter to anybody else?
Yeah. 7 years though. That seems a little ridiculous.
Yeah, but
That
maybe
really
there's
does.
I don't know, people who have divorced parents, they are usually more skeptical.
It is. But like I said, maybe this is just the world that I live in my skewed version of world.
Your favorite person, Sarah.
I
chimed
saw
in.
that. I saw that. She said, just maybe, not everybody wants to be married. Well, my simple answer to that is, then why are you dating somebody?
Because there's a lot of baggage that comes with being married.
I understand that, but I probably have a total skewed view, and I'm probably gonna get tweets and emails and all this other stuff about this. But if you don't want to get married, don't date somebody.
Yeah, but you don't
You're
but if
basically
both-
it's
if
like
both
you're getting to
people-
second base or third base on a baseball diamond and being like, I really don't want to go to home plate.
But
I'm
if
just gonna
both
stay here.
people are okay with not being married,
Right.
that doesn't mean that they
Then
want to
just
be
be
alone.
just be friends.
But that doesn't mean that they want to be alone forever.
You don't have to. I mean, then just get married.
Yeah, but what if they don't want to get married? They don't want to have to buy a house together and all these things. What if they just, I don't know.
I think people overcomplicate marriage. It's really not that complicated.
Yeah, but some people, it's also a big deal.
It is. I'm not saying it's not a big deal, but you could easily get married. You could go to the courthouse. You could go to have a small ceremony at a church. You could get married. You could buy a house together. You could rent an apartment together. You could get a dog and live your life. That's all you got to do.
Or you could do all that and not get married.
Or just be friends then. There's so many different things that you miss
but
out
you
on
can-
if you're not married though, from a adulting perspective. It's harder to buy a house, it's harder to get a car, it's harder to get loans for certain things. If you've got joint credit and all this other fun adult stuff.
Yeah, but
It helps.
if you're dating for, what is it, 8 years anyways, or you live together for 8 years, it's a common law marriage. You're basically married anyways.
Is it common law, though? Like,
Isn't that a real thing?
I have no idea. Is that? I don't know. Somebody look it up if it is. I don't know. Maxine and Jeff both say it's commitment issues and fear of commitment in that regard. So we also wish Greg a good morning today as well. Josh says he dated his wife for 5 years before they got engaged, and that's completely fine. The fact that you ended it in marriage, I think, is completely fine. But, like, and I don't know everybody's situation. I don't want to go on the record and start condemning people saying, like, oh, my gosh, if you've dated longer than 2 years, you should not get married. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I feel like you need to, as long as you have a direction, as long as you are not just pussyfooting around, as they say, like, I don't want you dating for 7 years and be like, we might get married. Like, you're wasting each other's time. Think about how much time you waste in your life if you date someone for 7 years with no intent of getting married.
Yeah, but you're not wasting time if both people are okay with it. If you weren't okay with it, then the one person would have dipped out already.
I just feel I want to interview and talk to more people that have these long relationships going on that I'm like, what are you waiting for? Like, what is your end game in all of this? If you're just having somebody around just to have somebody around, like, just be friends. Why does Kevin need to be your boyfriend? You know, why does Karen need to be your girlfriend? Like, just
Karen.
You know? What are you waiting? Like, what's the end game? If you just like having somebody around, well, just be friends. If Kevin wants to go mess around or actually settle down with somebody, like, you guys can still be friends, maybe.
Yeah, but that's probably the whole thing too. Like, she doesn't want him to be able to go and fool around with other people.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Who knew? Who knew this would get me so fired up? Anyway, our question of the day, how soon is too soon to get engaged? A good morning to Chuck and many others as well out there. Sarah and Maxine both saying that they don't believe it is common law anymore in Wisconsin, that you can be recognized as being married if you've been dating for 8 years. And how do you prove that you've been dating for 8 years? You don't sign anything when you ask somebody out on a date or when you start dating.
It's living together.
Living together?
Yeah, if you share the same address.
That's another thing. If you're living together for 8 years and you're not married, it's like, come on, you're basically married. Just go sign a little piece of paper and call it a day. It's not rocket science, people. It's really not. I have no idea. Jeff says hashtag friends with benefits. Maxine says hashtag team Baxter, total waste of time. Thank you, Maxine. Get on board. I love you. I'll send you a nice fruit basket. Sarah also says the relationship is the end game. Why does there have to be marriage at the end of it? Well, you're having a relationship.
Because society makes everybody think they have to be married. That's what it buckles down to. Yeah.
Where does society make you think that?
Because why else would you have that opinion? Because everybody else has made it seem like that's what you're supposed to. You're supposed to go to school, get married, make babies.
No, you're not supposed
blah,
to
blah, blah.
do any of that. I find it funny that certain people just feel like they have to do that. You don't have to. Marriage is not for everybody. I would rather you not get married than get into a bad relationship.
Right. So don't get married, but date someone who makes you happy for 7 years. Then it's okay.
No, don't date somebody that if you're gonna like. Why would you like? If you're going to date somebody, you're saying that you're acknowledging basically that you're okay with getting married. Because dating is like that 1B to like 1A of getting married. Because you have to date to get married. I can't just walk up to you on the street and be like, let's get married. You'll be like, who the hell are you?
If you're hot enough.
You might be different. If I'm Roman Yossi, you'll be like, here's my clothes off. Like, here's my hand. Like, I love you. Like, marry me. Like, I completely understand that, but like. That's not very common. Like, when you go to work after this, if, like, Kevin on the street corner is like, hey, you're pretty. Do you want to get married? You'll be like, who the hell? You don't know a single thing about Kevin. Right. You don't know if he's a criminal. You don't know if he has bad credit. Like, you don't know any of this.
Right.
You know? And it's fine. We can agree to disagree. That's completely fine. I don't know.
Can we agree, though, that Giselle and Tom Brady are the cutest married couple ever?
I love Giselle and Tom Brady as much as everybody else may or may not.
I think they're adorable.
Because they keep doing so many cute things. They're giving each other puppies.
Yeah, just for fun.
Oh.
Do you know how many times I've asked ex-boyfriends for puppies? All of them. Do you know how many have delivered? 0.
Do you know how many ex-boyfriends Jamie's had?
Only 3.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
That's actually not. I feel like if we would have raised like the over/under on that, I think like people would have probably shot higher than that. So.
I've dated everybody I've ever dated for over a year.
Wow.
Yeah, look at me.
Have you ever had marriage talks with any of them?
No, I dated one guy that was like, we could have kids. And I was like, what?
But not get married?
Right. He's like, I think kids are more important than marriage. I was like, okay, this is weird.
I don't even want to go down the kids. I don't even want to jump down that rabbit hole.
So.
Nope. Anyway, Tom Brady and Giselle. Giselle was recently just on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon playing, I forget the official name of the game, but it was something to do with like pup trivia or puppy rivia, or I forget what it is, or where every correct answer you get, you were given a puppy. I forget what it was, but this is apparently off the back of the fact that Brady and Giselle keep giving themselves puppies. Why not? How many puppies do they have now? 4 or 5?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but she said that she had a friend that called her in LA and was like, hey, I rescued a dog, but I don't want it. Do you want it? And she was like, yep.
Who rescues
Send it
dogs
over.
without wanting them?
I don't know. Because she probably knew that Giselle would say yes.
I need to just be very quiet, I feel like, with so many. I feel like I have all these different views about the world, and I just need to be very careful with how I phrase things. But, like...
I mean, like, you don't typically walk into a shelter, rescue a dog, and then, like, give it to your friend.
Who does? Anyway, I'm not going to touch it. Walk away. Leave it. I'll come back, though. I see you. Coming back for you. Anyway. So Giselle and Tom Brady being adorable as always. There's some other weird news. This kind of falls under the weird news category that's taking place. We all know about Bill Clinton's story. We all know what he did. We all know Monica Lewinsky. I just found this out recently that he's writing a book.
Huh.
But it's not like an expose like I cheated on Hillary. We all know. He's writing a book with James Patterson apparently called The President is Missing. Probably because the president's in his Oval Office with Monica Lewinsky. Anyway, that was way too easy. But aside from that, is Bill Clinton just trying to stay relevant here in this regards? And I don't know enough about Bill Clinton's, presidency because I was still a mere child and a mere mortal when this was going on. But it seems a little strange to me. I mean, but the Washington Post is reporting this, so I don't know. It seems a little weird to me.
I mean, I think it's probably a little weird that he's writing a book, like a fiction. Is fiction fake or is nonfiction fake? Fiction is fake.
Fiction is fake.
Yeah. He's writing a fictional book.
Right.
About presidency.
Yes, he says he's working on a book about a sitting president, drawing on what I know about the job, life in the White House, and the way Washington works, and it has been a lot of fun. Working with Jim. I remember when I got to call James Patterson Jim, award-winning author. Jim has been fantastic. I've been a fan of his for a very long time. The novel is set to be published in 2008. I've never read any of James Patterson's work. I've heard it's very good, but I've yet to actually get down that rabbit hole, so maybe I'll go and check it out. I love a good political thriller. I'm watching Designated Survivor right now with Kiefer Sutherland. I think it's phenomenal. And I get into, I watch Scandal as well, too. I love some of the political shows. I don't like the super political, we must, redo the agriculture policy. I don't care about that. I want to see, the terrorists. I want to see, this guy rising above, the country's in shambles, putting it back together, kind of a thing like that. Because, obviously, hence America today. Anyway, but I don't know. Do you ever get into any of the political dramas at all or
Political,
anything?
no. I'm, the least politically invested person.
I am as well too, and that's the thing in all this is I'm not into any of that kind of stuff either, but I like certain parts of it. I'm listening to I listened to the first season of an audio drama called Terms, and it's just a short 10 or 15 minute episode per week kind of a thing, and basically it just kind of goes through how the sitting president who's on his way out after his fourth term or his full term basically after his fourth year is trying to prevent the newly elected president from actually becoming president after he's been elected because there's controversy and scandal and all that fun stuff. So I find that stuff kind of cool. I think that's pretty cool, but I don't know. I can't deal with the super
politically
political. Yeah.
This is how it is.
No, the government was founded on these principles because of this and because of this. I'm I don't care.
Yeah.
I do not care. But I would love to hear about how there's a sniper across the green shooting at the president because blah, blah, blah. That's cool. I'll get on board with that.
Right.
Aside from that, I don't care about, conversations with the Agriculture Department of China. Don't care. Just don't. Jeff said, you really think Bill Clinton is writing a book? He's just attaching his name for marketing purposes. That's probably very true. Bill probably is going to write maybe a chapter, or he's going to come up with all these great ideas, and James Patterson's going to be like, all right, Bill, cool stuff. I'm going to actually write this real book because we're good friends, and you gave me lots and lots of money. I'll put your name on the book, and we can call it a day. Probably more realistic at this point.
Yeah.
Greg wants to know, did Patterson also write Divorce 5? I don't know. I do not know if he wrote that book. I'm not a big James Patterson aficionado, so I don't know how much or little he has had. But just to go back to circle the wagons, we are asking the two questions of the day. We do say good morning to Spencer and many others tuning in as well, David and Haley and others. We're asking how soon is too soon to be engaged. We're also asking if you can name one player. Who would you switch spots with for a day? I think we need to step into that realm for right now, Jaymee. Who would be one player, male or female? You just want to live their life for the day. You don't have to play the game necessarily that they play, but you, in theory, could be the whatever version of that player for a day.
I think I would probably pick your girlfriend Ronda Rousey.
Oh, I was like,
Only for the sole fact that she's doing things, or she did things that other women hadn't done before, right? Like the whole MMA world kind of
Right.
blew up because of her and UFC and blah, blah, blah. So that's really cool. She also lives in California, which I would love to live in California. And
it's kind of overrated.
Oh, it's like my favorite place.
How many times have you been to
I
California?
did long distance relationship for 2 years. So I'm gonna live in California. So a lot. Baxter. So a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna go with her.
Interesting. Okay.
I like the whole like barrier breaking, like she.
Sounds about right for you.
Yeah.
Breaking the barriers.
So that's why I would want to be her.
Do you think you could ever hit somebody?
No, I'm a big baby.
No, I don't.
I'm a nice girl.
Fair enough. Adam says the one and only George Best in his prime. Ooh, yes. Good old George Best, the famous British soccer player. Well, he played in England, rather. I forget where George Best actually played his national team soccer. Josh says he'd love to switch with Messi. So a lot of soccer players. For me, I don't know who I'd want to switch with. I've got a couple of different people. Like, it'd be cool to switch lives with J.J. Watt, just because he obviously is such a community family guy, but he also, of course, has got ties to the soccer world with his girlfriend as well, too, Keelia Ohai. It'd be cool to be Mason Crosby for a day, just because being a kicker. What up, kickers? David Beckham would be really cool to switch places with as well, too, just because he does so much. I think that in general, if there's somebody I could switch with, I'd probably be Al Michaels, just to take Al Michaels' job for a day and just call a big game or do something crazy like Al Michaels does. But I don't have one specific player in mind, though, just because I know that there's a lot of different facets that I like. But yours makes a lot of sense because, as you mentioned, you like to break the barriers. You like to just get out and see what life would be, and you just really just want to live in California is really what it comes down to. So that's like the basic thing that you boil it all down to. Chuck said he would love to switch places with Bob Uecker, Brewers announcer Bob Uecker. I can get on board with that. Everybody loves the good Bob Uecker, that's for sure. Greg thinks that Bill Clinton should be a rapper, though, not a writer.
I don't think that would go over so well.
I don't know how that would work. I mean, he lives the life, though, the sex, drugs, and alcohol and prostitutes with all that fun stuff. So I guess that kind of makes sense. I mean, if you're going to go historically off of Bill Clinton, but I don't know. Bill Clinton, the rapper.
I feel like he's a little old to rap fast.
It's true. Have you seen when Barack Obama was on The Tonight Show doing slow jamming the news?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's really funny. It's really, really funny. You're going to have to look at it at some time when you have a free minute. So it is Tuesday. It is Terrible Tuesday, where we talk about different things that people may or may not be having terrible days about. I know Jaymee has a terrible Tuesday in regards to her pocketbook and not wanting to spend so much money on something so stupid as an accessory. I don't know if you want to go first, Jaymee, or what you'd like to do come Terrible Tuesday.
Yeah, I guess we can go ahead. For those of you who know, we love the Ball family here at Brew Sports.
We do.
We don't. We hate them. LeVar Ball is claiming that he has sold almost 500 pairs of his stupid shoes. Or his son's shoes, let's be real.
They're his shoes.
Yeah, they really
Don't
are.
even lie to us, Jaymee.
So,
They're his shoes.
He went on Undisputed, I believe yesterday, to talk about the shoes and where he came up with a $495 price tag on them and why they're great. I don't know. It was a bunch of BS, if you ask me. All he basically said was, someone said, where did you come up with the price? How did you come up with $495? And he said, came up with it on my own. Well, duh, but how?
They're
just worth it.
Put it together.
They're just worth it.
Just worth it.
And then he said, what did he say? He said, these are special because Lonzo hasn't played an NBA game yet, and he already has this wonderful shoe out. Yeah, that's the issue. The issue is that your son, granted, we all know he's probably going to be picked up by the Lakers.
Probably.
But right now, he's not really in anybody.
He's really not. That's the big thing in
The
all
only
this.
reason that people are still talking about him is because his dad's crazy. And that's what someone said. I don't forget who it was, but they were like, you came up with a $495 shoe because people are going to talk about it. You came up with a $125 shoe, no one's going to talk about it. You came up with a $500 pair of shoe, everyone's going to talk about it.
Right.
And they did. So.
Well, that's the big thing in all this, too, is that, I mean, you look at literally LeBron or Kobe or anybody else that has ever released a shoe, and it's, that $100 range. I think, you said the other day you can buy the Shaq shoes for between $20 and $60 or something like that. I mean, Shaq's got a multi-millionaire. He's not hurting for cash. I understand that Lonzo's trying to make his name, or his dad is trying to make his name in the NBA world, but Shaq made all his millions and was like, I want to give back and I want to have a shoe that's affordable for
Right.
people. Like even Steph Curry. People make fun of Steph Curry's, old man looking shoe, but at the same time, like, he's not charging an arm and a leg for it either. I heard though that these shoes take 6 months to make. 6 months.
Yeah, but that makes sense because it's from probably a small distributor.
It probably is, yeah. Probably out somewhere there in Chino Hills. So that's probably why they're trying to get the money. That's probably why they have to pay. Why it's so much money to buy a pair, because you have to literally craft the shoe by hand, and you can't just kick it out to a distributor in China and say, all right, make us 1,000 of these shoes for 20 bucks.
It says that they searched more specifically on the sales figure from nicekicks.com, tracked the inventory sales on Big Baller Brand's website to determine that 328 total transactions were placed on the site 24 hours since the shoes were unveiled. Now that includes T-shirts and sweatshirts and all that too. It's not just the shoes.
Interesting. Huh. I don't know how I feel about this, honestly. I mean, we've been very vocal about the Ball family here on Brew Sports. You've also been very vocal about Tim Tebow and many other trending topics as well, too. But still, I still sit on the fence that for $495, you might as well just be lining the streets with gold at this point. Do you need a cigarette? You good?
Yeah, no, I sound like I smoke
Yeah,
cigarettes.
she does. I mean, it's been 30 minutes or 40 minutes we've been on the air. Jaymee needs to step outside the...
Yeah, but that was good for only coughing right there.
Yeah.
I've been
Proud of
holding it in.
Way to go. And we're probably going to get off the air, and she's just going to, like, go to the back room and just be like, It's all good. No worries. So I've got a quick Terrible Tuesday here, and it actually isn't involving this former player. It's involving the person that is going to be affected by this. Shaquille O'Neal says that he's planning to run for sheriff in 2020.
Is he going to fit in a car? He's
Yeah.
a big man.
He obviously does. He is already an honorary deputy in Georgia's Clayton County, and has been received and as a reserve police officer in L.A., Miami Beach, Tempe, Arizona, Golden Beach, Florida, and Doral, Florida. And now he wants to actually run for sheriff. So my person that has the Terrible Tuesday is going to be whoever decides to run against Shaquille O'Neal, because you are not going to win. You are just not. It's kind of like when Arnold Schwarzenegger ran for governor of California. I don't care what political experience you have. People just want to see this. People wanted to see Arnold run a state. People want to see Shaq dressed in a sheriff uniform with a little star going pew pew. Like,
Yeah,
obviously, I know he's not going to look exactly like that, but in my mind, I see like a little towny cowboy hat and like
Brown, like
this town ain't
sheriff
big enough for the
badge.
two of us. Be like, well, yeah, Shaq, you're massive. Like, there's nobody can fit in here.
Right.
Like, obviously, but I want to see Shaq like track somebody down, be patrolling in his car at 4 a.m. with the donuts in his front seat, be like, oh, you stole, you vandalized, like run people down and tackle them. Like, I
they
don't
would
want
immediately die.
I don't want Shaq chasing me down.
Yeah, no.
Definitely
Scare me.
hands off a little bit. So he said he would never run for mayor, but he wants to run for sheriff. You think a lot of these athletes and former coaches and stuff just do this kind of stuff just because they're bored? I mean, how many people really sit around and be like, congressman, that's what
Yeah.
I want to do right now.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
you're
I
a
think
12-time All-Star. What do you mean you want to be a congressman?
Yeah, I think that if they do it out of boredom, it's kind of disrespectful to the people that actually do it for a job. But I wonder if it's also like they've had their fun,
Right.
they played, and were an athlete for so long. Now they want to do something a little more meaningful. So maybe that has something to do with it, more than just out of boredom.
Maybe. But at the same time, when you're rich, powerful, and famous, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Right.
No one's gonna bat an eye. But probably that's honestly why, like, Donald Trump probably ran for president. I'm sure he had all these great ideas, but like people probably, to an extent, a lot of people won't admit this, but they voted for Donald Trump just because they're like, what would happen?
Right.
Like, what would happen if this actually happened, kind of thing, Like, that's how you see all these celebrities and all these other people, like, getting offices that they have zero experience in, but it's just I wonder if,
Right.
Kind of a thing. So, obviously, people would love to see Ronda Rousey, like, as the Secretary of Defense, just because she beats people up for a living. It's like, well, what would happen? What would happen? Like, okay, easy does it. There's a part where it's like, in an alternate universe, sure, but in real life, when lives are on the line, does that really make a lot of
Right.
sense? I don't know if it does. I don't know. Chuck says apparently that Steven Seagal, famous actor, was actually a legit sheriff in Louisiana.
Huh.
Is sheriff that actually easy to do? Can I go run for sheriff in Milwaukee? Is that possible? Sports broadcaster, no previous experience. I think I fired a gun twice in my life. I could be a sheriff.
Yeah, I wonder what like the criteria is.
We'll have to get an intern on it. I have no idea. Spencer also said that he would love to trade places with Don Cherry for a day just so he could rock one of his suits. I'm all about that Don Cherry life. I completely agree with you on that one. All right, it is also Tuesday, which means it is Yes Drama here on Brew Sports. Jaymee and I love our Yes Drama, where we talk about something that is dramatic, that's firing us up, whether it's been something we've already talked about throughout the week, or something to come, or something that we just got to get off our chests. I feel like I already kind of exasperated my Yes Drama earlier in the day when I talked about the engagements and too soons and all that fun business. But my Yes Drama is going to actually center around everything that's going on with the NBA playoffs right now, just because people are complaining about how Cleveland and Golden State are just too good. Well, the drama with that is that the last CBAs that were going on, that's what screwed you all over. So for those of you who are complaining about the bad product on the court, just realize that it was the players' union and everybody else involved that kind of screwed you. So if you're mad that your team is getting swept in 4 games, well, number one, I mean, obviously it sounds stupid, but it's true. We'll get better. Find ways to shut down players like LeBron and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry on a nightly basis. Otherwise, just stop complaining. Number two, make sure that the next time the CBAs come around, that the proper people are in place to make sure that you can't stack a team. You can't put a full all-star squad on one team. So for those of you that are complaining about the playoffs being boring, and we all know who's going to end there, well, there's a lot of previous underlying things that you have to worry about. So go and yell at the specific people that actually have control over something like this. So there you go. That's my drama, my little 2 cents on that one.
My drama, I don't know if I talked to you about this yesterday or someone else about, no, I think it was you. What were we talking about?
We talk about a lot of things on a daily basis.
Something about, I don't remember what we were talking about, but maybe this will help us remember. So right now, Dove has a campaign out, and Dove is very good at, like, making every woman feel that their body type is okay.
Right.
Right? That's great. But we know that already. But they are now coming out with different body wash bottles in different shapes to match women's body types.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Which, okay, that's very nice of you. But does that need to be a thing? Like, just give me something that I can hold on to easily, squirt body wash in my hand, and wash my body. Like, it doesn't, like, I don't get it. I get it. Like, that's nice. Okay. But it's unnecessary. That's it. It's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. Yeah, I mean, I look in the shower in the morning when I get in, like, my wife's body wash bottle is very similar to mine. Like, mine's a little bit bigger just because I bought a bigger size, so that way I, like, with a little pump on it, so it's nice and easy to use when you're in the shower and do that kind of thing. But, like, why do we, like, are they actually like women's body shape? Like, I'm picturing
so
like a rounded bottom, like
yep,
a
one of them
bottom.
is like long and curvy. The other one's like a little wider and curvy, and then the other one's like pear shaped. I get it.
The people that want the smaller bodies are going to buy the smaller bottles.
It just makes more sense to squirt that one into your hand anyways.
Right. I can't grab a big round bottle while I'm in the shower.
And I get it.
It's awkward. I have big hands, but even then I can't do that.
Right. I get it. Women's bodies,
sure.
Like, it's an issue. Like, the whole women, whatever. But this is just unnecessary. This is not going to make... I wouldn't be like, that Dove bottle matches my body type. Ooh, I am so happy that I am pear-bottomed or curvy or whatever. Like, no. That doesn't make me feel any better.
I agree. It's very strange, honestly. I don't necessarily know.
People so sensitive. Just buy a normal bottle.
Seriously. Luis says, of course, good morning to Luis. He says that he has to share his body wash with his brother. Well, that's fine. I mean, families do that all the time. Like, you're not going to buy something in that regards where you're going to be like, okay, like guys aren't going out there like, oh, I want the bottle that has six-pack abs, or I want the bottle that has, like, a beer belly. Like, guys would probably be stupid, be like, oh, my bottle's got a beer belly.
Right.
Like, guys are idiots, let's be honest. But, like, for women, though, like, if you think you're trying to be a nice person and you accidentally buy the pear-shaped body wash for Christmas for Aunt Karen, and Aunt Karen's been having issues with her weight, and you buy her that one, and she knows about it, be like, oh, you think I'm fat? You think I'm a big girl and I need a pear bottle? Like, how dare you?
Yeah, I think it's just people need to stop being so sensitive.
Right?
Just buy a normal bottle of shampoo. We all already know that Dove is really good at trying to make women feel okay in the skin that they're, born with, blah, blah, blah. This is just unnecessary.
I agree. I completely agree. And when I am sheriff, I will make this a law.
Oh, good.
Brian, good morning to you and many others as well, too. Brian says, hashtag Baxter for sheriff. Luis says, hashtag Baxter for sheriff. Josh says, you could run for sheriff, Baxter. It's an election. Is there an age limit? That's usually, like, the issue, like, with certain sheriffs. But, like, you see people being congressmen and mayor. Like, isn't there, like, a super young mayor out there somewhere that's, like, 17 or 18 years old or something like that? I don't know. There's like young people. Like I feel like the age limit on certain things is ridiculous.
I
but
thought that maybe you would have to be like a police officer or something like in the
that's.
military.
I feel like you have to have some
or-
sort of experience if you're gonna run for sheriff. You have to
Yeah.
have some previous experience. I feel
Right.
like maybe not. I'm not sure. We keep saying a good morning to all you wonderful people out there. Good morning to Megan and Benny and Max as well too, swinging by. If you're just joining us, we are asking 2 quick questions of the day. We'd love to hear your opinions on how soon is too soon to get engaged. We're also asking if you can name one player you'd switch spots with for the day. Who would that person be and why? Greg says that he wants Dove now, but he wants it for chocolate. Can you imagine bathing in chocolate? Isn't that like almost every girl's fantasy is like a nice like warm chocolate bath? Like, maybe not. I don't know. Is that not?
I'm gonna say no, and maybe other women feel differently, but I'm gonna go with no.
No, you don't think so? You wouldn't want to bathe in chocolate?
No, you'd have chocolate in your butt crack. Like, no thanks. Stuck in your belly button.
You would be that girl to be like, there is a lot that goes into this.
Yeah.
Like,
So I saw yesterday on like a post that this girl was looking to do a milk bath shoot with like a pregnant friend. Why are you wasting milk? You drink it. Milk is so good. Don't lay and bathe in it. No.
unless it's like 2% or fat free and you just don't care about it, then sure, waste it, I guess.
No, drink it.
Drink it?
I love milk. If someone asked me my favorite beverage, it'd be milk.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
White or chocolate?
Well, chocolate for sure, but that's a treat.
Clearly.
That's
a treat. Like, Mama's had a good day. I'm about to get some chocolate
Mama's
milk.
gonna get some 2%.
Get me. Benny says today's final exams day for him, day 2. We wish you, Benny, a good luck on your exams. Hopefully they go well for you. I'm so glad. I keep hearing all these people talk about, final exams. I'm like, no, no final exams. Like, it's such a great feeling. It also makes me feel old at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I remember when I was in college, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Either way, it just seems like a long time ago, which it isn't. But Brew also says, son milk. He loves milk.
Love milk.
Yes. Benny also says, and it's never too young to get married if you're truly in love and financially ready. Oh, Benny, you make me sick. I liked you, Benny, and then you went and said something like that. Go back and watch the beginning of the show, Benny. No, I think I don't want to go down this rabbit hole again. Like, I think it depends. Like, yes, if you were in love and you're financially ready, yes, but you have to do it. I feel like you got to have a minimum of like a year and a half minimum. 2 years is ideal. But you like 6 months, 7 months. Do you really know each other? Do you really know each other? Do you? I don't think so. I really don't. I really don't think you do. Anyway, Luis also says he would get engaged at 21 or 28 on. So anytime after 28, he thinks that is certainly appropriate to get engaged. Max answers our questions of the day too. He says, I'd switch with Philip Grubenar. Or is that how you say it? I guess I don't know. Just so I could sit on the bench as a backup goalie and watch the Caps play. So there you go, Max. Max telling us how he feels when a player he would want to switch places with.
Benny just said it took his dad a month to propose to his mom. They're still married, though. That's crazy.
What?
When you know, you know.
I'm about to walk off the set, okay? That's how ridiculous this is. 1 month. Please tell me they at least, and now they're 23 years married. Haha. That doesn't happen all the time, though, Benny, so don't be sitting there in your dorm room or wherever you are, cackling to yourself, saying like, aha, they beat the system. It's not realistic. If I had proposed to my wife after a month, she'd just slap me, and I would be sitting here alone and sad in my life. Okay? Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, you have to work at it. You just do. 1 month. What? What is this world coming to? I don't understand. I really don't. I think Brian agrees with me. He says you really do. You really need to be financially stable and, of course, be really in love. Well, yes, of course. But it takes time. Nobody's financially stable as a sophomore in college or a senior in college.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I've just now become financially stable 2 years out of college. It takes a while. You have to get a real job. You have to work, save money. And, having a second income from somebody you're married to makes it so much easier. Huh. What? You have something. You're smirking over there. What? Say things. Go.
No.
I'm tired of this crap.
Nope. I don't think it's a matter of age. Well, that too. Like, if who I was at 18 and who I am now at 25 is
Right.
like, completely different. Like, my first boyfriend compared to the last person I dated are completely different. So,
Brian says he proposed after 6 months and is still married after these 2 years.
See?
That's true. And he has 2 kids, 2 adorable babies. But It's not as common as people think. So I just feel like we just happen to tap into the single demographic of people that are like, oh yeah, I've been engaged and married for under like a year or like a month. Like, great. You people out there must be having conversations and sharing this show among each other, being like, look how stupid Baxter is. Like, it can actually work. Like, it doesn't happen realistically. It just doesn't. I wasn't ready at 6 months. I wasn't ready at a year.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. Put it together. Unbelievable. Haley says age in marriage is dependent on the person. There is no perfect age. Yes, and I'm completely fine with that. I'm not saying that you have to be married by 23 or married by 31. Like, no. People are, I mean, my dad's getting remarried after being married for 20 years. He's now getting remarried, and he's going to be 50, 51. Like, it's not like you hit a certain age and all of a sudden you're like, nope, no more marriage for me. I'm done. I'm out kind of thing. Like, my mom just got remarried too a year or so ago. Like, she's in her late 40s. Like, that's good. Good for you. Like, there's no age limit to getting married. It's if you rush the marriage, though. That's where I start to get a little in it. So, Brian says, I also have already worked with my career and was ahead of myself for his age. That's true. There are certain times and certain areas. Some people just are way better at life than others are. That's just the honest truth. I mean, like, by the time, and I know Brian. Brian's a personal friend. Like, at the time that he proposed and he was ready to roll, he had already been working in his career. He'd already established himself. He was basically everything going on properly. He just didn't have his leading woman. So when he found his leading woman, they got together and it made sense and everything was completely fine. That makes sense. If you have literally nothing going for you, like in adult sense, and you get engaged or married after a year, that's where the issues are going to roll on, personally, in my opinion.
I wouldn't know.
One day, Jaymee, one day. We need to have a speed dating show again for you at some point. That was a lot of fun.
No.
That was a lot of fun. It was great. People would get on board with that. People want to do that. Louise says there's no age limit, but I also know people that got married at 18. Yeah, yeah.
Your girl just commented?
My girl just
Sarah.
commented. Oh, Sarah, I lived with someone for 13 years. That's how I know Wisconsin was no common law. I did my research. There we go. Did she end up marrying that person? That's
Nope.
the real question. Did you want to marry that person,
Nope.
Sarah? What the hell are you doing, Sarah? I love you, but what the hell are you doing? Brian says, let me know if you're going to do your ride along to be your sheriff. Yes, I'm going to need to be. I need to start prepping for my sheriff campaign now. So, sheriff.
Anybody that's not married is not going to vote for you. So that's a lot of people. So get ready.
It depends on where I run.
For the picketers.
No, say yes. Say no to marriage. Say no to marriage. No. Okay. Get out of here, people. Good morning, Trevor. You're late to the party, but we're great to see you. Trevor, if you're just tuning in, we're asking 2 questions today. How soon is too soon to get engaged? And if you could name one player you'd switch spots with today, who would it be? Oh, my gosh. I need to look at the comments here fast. Did we miss anything? Did we miss any craziness this morning? Benny says his dad was 32 when they got married. Like, that makes a little bit more sense here. I take issue with the people that are under 24, that are under 25. Those are the people I take issue with. I'm not targeting those of you that have been working, that are established, that actually have your lives together. I'm not mad at you people. It's the 20 to 25. We're so in love. It's been 4 months. We've been on 2 dates. I've never met his family. We're getting married. You need to jump off a cliff and think about your relationship.
Yeah, what he said.
And when I say jump off a cliff, I mean like into a pool of balls at McDonald's because, I don't want you to die. Like, that'd be bad. I don't want you, like...
So you can't get married.
You're a loony bin. Like, you need to just think about it. Stupid millennials just want everything now.
When you know, you know.
Millennials just want everything now.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
I told you why, because everyone just wants to put their stupid hand on Facebook and be like, look at me. Dumb.
It is. I don't know if people actually enjoy us, Jaymee, when we talk. I really don't know. I have no idea. Spencer says, I like seeing WWE wrestlers break character and run for public office. Yeah, I'm all about that. I think that's super funny, honestly. Luis also says, most of these people I know got married because they got pregnant. Now they are divorced. Kill me now. Yeah, that's what a lot of it comes down to is they're like, oh, we've been dating for 7 months and I couldn't keep it in my pants and now she's pregnant, so I don't want to be an asshole, so we should probably get married. But then after 2 years, the relationship falls apart because you didn't really know each other, and then it just is a hot mess. Nobody wants to be divorced and a single parent at 22. That just looks bad. Like from a general perspective, like, You know, like if you're dating somebody, like, is it a turn off when you meet a guy and he's like, yeah, I'm 24, I've already been married, got 2 kids. You're like,
Yeah, but I'm an awful human. Like, I have high standards. Like,
no,
I don't even.
That's
Yeah,
what
but
I'm
like, I
saying.
don't even want like my mom to date anybody with kids because I don't want to have any more siblings. Like,
Yeah,
I
you're
don't want
like,
a sister. So
sister,
I'm
brother.
also nowhere near ready to be a parent. So
Right. That's the big thing. Like I have a friend of mine that recently got married, but he married a girl that had an 8-year-old son. And I was like, are you ready to be a dad? I'm like, you can barely pay your own rent on time. You think you're ready
Yeah.
to be a dad? Like, I don't know. And now they're pregnant with their own baby since they've been
Oh,
married. So I'm just
cute.
like, oh, like that's adorable. But I'm like,
yeah,
you were, credited like an 8-year-old to start your relationship. It's like,
Yeah.
you're married. Here's a kid. Like, oh, okay.
it takes a special someone.
It does. And more props to those
Not
people
me.
that can do it. Yeah. I mean, obviously I would make it work, but like if like my wife had had a kid previously, like a lot of it for me boils down to where the baby daddy is. Like I don't want no baby daddy drama.
Okay, gotcha.
You know,
gotcha,
like I
gotcha,
don't want to
gotcha.
deal with any of that like sad worst case scenario like dad died, whatever. Like, well then sure, like absolutely someone needs to come and rally and help make your life better. But you broke up because dad cheated on you, blah, 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 but he's still hanging around because you want him to pay, blah, 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 like kind of thing. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't need Ken
No
showing
baby
up my
daddy
front door,
drama.
like, drunk and like, where's my son at? Be like, get out of here. Like, no, like, be like, you can have the drama. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not, personally, I'm not about that life. No, thank you. Luis says he does feel sorry for those babies, and I do too. Like my heart goes out to those people that like kind of get brought into the world and have a crappy situation that they got to deal with and be branded for the rest of their life. Like, oh, you were raised with a single parent, or oh, your parents got divorced when you were 2 years old. Like my parents got divorced when I was 17, but I'm not losing sleep over it. Like it's completely fine. Like I had already lived enough of my life in a positive manner with my parents together that when they got divorced, I was
Yeah,
like,
but
well,
just
I'm about
because
to
they're
be an
not
adult.
married doesn't mean it's still not positive.
Right, exactly. Like they've reconciled, like things are fine now. But like that's the thing when people are like, oh, your parents got divorced. Like I'm so sorry. I'm like,
People don't say that anymore because everyone gets divorced.
that's true. It's so true. Like that was like the big thing. Like when you found out like Jimmy's parents were getting divorced, you were like,
Yeah, my parents were like the first ones of my friends to
get
divorced.
where was I in the line? I think I was right around one of the first as well too. And I
At
was
17?
yeah, in my
Holy
friend
buckets.
group. In my friend group. Like I think so. Somewhere in that vicinity. Yeah, I'd have to go back and check officially, but I think so. Somewhere in that general vicinity. So, yeah. But then as soon as they got divorced, like after the next like 5 years, like a couple more started like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh,
Huh.
okay. But like I went to school with like a ton of divorced kids, and like a ton
Right.
of like single family or single parent kids. Like,
Yours were the
Yeah.
first because you were homeschooled.
yeah, you don't hear a lot of divorces in the homeschool world, that's for sure. So if you want to skew the stats and you want to throw something weird at people, just go be homeschooled. That'll completely void everything. That's for sure. I don't know. All right. Last check of the comments here before we get out. You guys have been absolutely incredible today. Reminder to go check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Spreaker.com to watch, listen, and just engage with us as a whole. Luis says, here in Peru, we call it oops, babies. We are bad people. I don't think it makes you bad. It's true. It's like, oops, pregnant. Hello, baby. Haha, hello. But I mean, you're not going to like get rid of the baby,
Some people do.
Some people do, but that's another time. Another conversation for another time. It's another yes drama for another day. So I'm officially submitting my campaign to be the sheriff of something. I don't know where should I run for sheriff. I don't know where. Should I run for Milwaukee?
Probably not.
I don't think so. I don't want that job. Like I need like a nice small town that has no crime and no problems that I can be content being a sheriff.
Cedarburg.
I love Cedarburg. I'd be the sheriff of Cedarburg, but there's some crafty kids up there. I worked at the high school for 3 years with some of those kids, and they're really nice, but I've read stories, and I don't want to be chasing down any like drunk 15-year-olds in Cedarburg because they're idiots at times.
You don't have to be chasing down drunk 15-year-olds wherever you go.
It's true. But when I'm sheriff, I'll make other people do it because I'm the sheriff.
Right.
I'll just sit at my desk and spin my gun and
Sureback.
and put my spurs on the desk. I think my view of sheriff is very skewed compared to a lot of people.
I agree.
Oh my gosh. All right, Jaymee, we'll be back here again tomorrow. We will not be here Thursday or Friday. Jaymee, Tanner, and I all have vacations that we are so excited to go and jump in on. So we will be sure to catch up with you guys. I'll be checking in from times Dave, no, I have not seen the news lately from Cedarburg. I'm definitely going to have to check it out, though. I've heard it's been hot and heavy the last couple of times. So good morning to you, Dave, and all the other people. If we missed any of your comments, if you still wanted to voice your opinions for our questions of the day, Jaymee and I always go back and check more comments and also answer questions and engage with you after we get off the air. So thank you so much to all the amazing people that stopped by today. It's great to have Jamie's voice back. It's great to have Jaymee in prime fidgety, crazy fashion this morning. She is a little fidgety, but it's all good. We love her. We'll be back again tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Time. Coming up next on Brew Sports is our NFL show with Tanner Burke and James Stewart. That is at 9 a.m. Central Time. They've got all the latest news from the NFL world. You're not going to want to miss it. And then halftime with myself and Tanner Burke at 11 a.m. Central Time, and Double Dribble at 5 p.m. Central to close it all out for the day. All live here on Facebook Live on Brew Sports, all live on YouTube, all live on Spreaker. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks for swinging by, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's been a lot of fun. Until tomorrow for Morning Brew, that's Jaymee. I'm Baxter. Enjoy your day. We'll talk to you next time, guys.
3,